It's important for you to understand how much has been important for us, for the patients of my generation. I was born in 1963. Next year I'm going to have 60 years old. And this means that for the patients of my generation, working initially with our parents and our parents organized an association, and the story that Dr. Eleftheriou talked about Cyprus is quite similar in Greece, it's quite similar in Italy. Of course, in Italy particularly, thalassemia has been recognized officially as a social disease in 1960s. According to this declaration, statement of the government, also an immediate implementation of prevention program has been implemented, and this thanks also to the joint efforts of our parents that organized in an association in 1974 and ran an association for many years before being replaced by the patients. And this is important for all the patients in the audience to understand that yesterday Abdel talked about a very important topic and very moving for us to realize how much difficult is the patient journey for people coming from developing countries that are in very big trouble for patients to be treated, from Syria, but also from Afghanistan, from other countries. But also the patient journey of the patients of my generation, of my age. We passed through the hell of thalassemia. We have been diagnosed when thalassemia was fatal during the infancy or during the adolescence. And so what we have built in our nations, in Greece, in Cyprus, in Italy, and also in UK and US that received the migrants at the time, is particularly important, and it is an experience to share also with you. It's particularly important. But okay, I think we talked too much about that. Let's see what is my topic for today, that is how can be developed a network and a collaboration. It's particularly important to start from the definition, of course. The collaboration, of course, it's mainly related to an organization rather than individuals, while networking is mainly related to individuals rather than organization. But of course, both the definition can overlap sometimes. Of course, collaboration is an action of working to achieve something, working with someone to achieve something, or to work with different stakeholders to be productive and to achieve something. While networking refers to the ability of exchanging ideas, information with groups, as well with individuals that have the same interests that we have. It's important to build long-term relationship, and in order to develop a mutual benefit, and also to develop skills in networking. And these are mainly the ability to make contacts through a process that is two-way. I give you something, and I expect to receive from you something. So what is the value of both collaboration and networking? Trying to keep them differentiating. Of course, collaboration has a great value, but if the collaboration is developed in a productive way, according to the capacity of the organization and according to the personal skills of the individual, of the participants, but can be also challenging or even negative in some cases. And in this case, we have 3 items to remember. The first is the bad collaboration is better to have no collaboration with anyone. Collaboration for sake of the collaboration can be not productive. It is not necessarily an added value. And collaborating too much also sometimes can be a problem rather than a solution. While networking, and I mentioned before networking skills, serve in the toolkit of a patient advocate as a catalyst in a chemical reaction. You know, the catalyst is something that facilitates the reaction in the chemical framework. It's more or less the same also in networking. The abilities and the skills that you develop provide you great information to share ideas and information. And it's possible also for you to meet and learn from the experience of people who have been in life where you currently are. What I stated before. It's important for the new patients, the new developing patients organization to understand and to be in touch with all the patients organization or patient support group, because probably during the lives, thalassemia is the same everywhere. So probably, and patients have the same problem in Northern Europe, in Southeast Asia, in US, in UK, everywhere. And so probably I'm in my life in a position to give insights to the patients that are establishing an organization now, that are currently facing problems now that I figured out many years ago. How much is important, and I will not go through this, but just to make an example of Thalassemia International Federation partnership and collaboration. It's pivotal and has been part of our job as TIF to develop all this collaboration, to strengthen this fight, this kind of collaboration with governments, with official policy making bodies, with patient-oriented organization, with the scientific societies, with academia, with industry, of course. That is pivotal, also has been pivotal for the development of the federation across the years. These are some examples of community building. Has been mentioned, our collaboration at HIHA, the European Hematology Association. HIHA is one of the leading medical societies in terms of patients' involvement. We started many years ago to collaborate with the HIHA, and currently we have 14 pan-European umbrella, like TIF organizations that are members of the HIHA Patients Organization Work Group. And also EuroBloodNet can be an example. EuroBloodNet is the European reference network for rare hematological disorders. It's a network that is it's divided into 2 different areas. One mainly is for malignancy, but the other is for rare anemias and rare disorders of hematological disorders are different from malignancy, like leukemia, myeloma, etc. And currently, the same 14 pan-European patients umbrella are also involved in EuroBloodNet, and 9 patient advocates representing 9 out of 14 organizations within the network. What we build also in collaboration with Eurordis, that is part of our job at EuroBloodNet. It's very important collaboration also developed from TIF since the establishment of Eurordis in 1996, while TIF has been established in 1986, so we started 10 years before. But we developed a very important and powerful collaboration with Eurordis, and in particular within EuroBloodNet, together with Eurordis, we focus on the sickle cell. You know, sickle cell patients and sickle cell disease is scattered across Europe because of the migration problem. It's mainly a problem of migrants, people. And so these patients are underrepresented in EuroBloodNet, have been underrepresented in Europe in general, and in EuroBloodNet in particular. So we decided to focus on sickle cell patients' organization, promoting some actions and giving space to the patients for meeting, discussing, and select their priorities that are important for the achievements, for the future achievement of this condition. Another I don't see this. Okay. Another important, very recently established example of collaboration and networking is the International COVID-19 Blood Cancer Coalition. This is recently established. It is very important because emphasize the need for being vaccinated for the people that are immunocompromised. And of course, you know that blood cancer patients are heavily compromised. This coalition is very useful, and this is a good example of networking and collaboration, because this is the list of endorsers. There are medical societies, scientific societies, patients' umbrella organization. I hope TIF can join, because also thalassemia patients can be immunocompromised and can be prioritized in the vaccination campaign for COVID. And this is important to see that all these organizations at national or umbrella organizations at European level endorse this kind of coalition. Okay, but we are speaking more about philosophy, but how can we work in practical life? For example, we talked before, we can have the problem of blood shortages. Thalassemia patients need to be transfused regularly. And so, particularly in the Mediterranean area, this is a big problem to face, that every organization, patients' organization face almost every day in a country like Italy, for example. There are regions like the Sardinia, with a huge number of patients, and is an island like Cyprus with great need of blood. We are speaking more than 1,000 patients out of 7,000 in Italy. 1,000 patients is located in Sardinia, and they need to be regularly transfused because the majority is thalassemia major patients. So blood shortages is a problem for the patients, and to be tackled require to develop a good collaboration with your reference blood bank. You listened yesterday from Professor Piga also how much is important to develop for the clinician a good collaboration with blood bank, but it's important also for the patient's organization. Not only, it's important to develop a good collaboration also with the blood donors. But what is game-changing for us to tackle this problem is your networking skills. Because, of course, based on your individual work, rather than as a patient's organization, you can get in touch with your peers, your family, your parents, your friends, and sensitize them about the need for blood donation. So, if you can improve your skills in networking and be in contact with all these people, you can also be facilitated in figure out the problems that you have. Another example in the practical life can be, if I want to improve services of your center of care, you need to establish a good collaboration with the policymakers, of your region or your country, with the administrative department of healthcare providers. And you have also to develop good networking skills, because if you are collaborating and working together with other patients' organizations for transversal problems and issues, for rare diseases, for example, is much better and it's much useful to achieve something that can be productive and a game changer also for our life, in our everyday life. Okay, but how to improve networking skills? I will not go through all these busy slides. I'm sorry for that. Now, therefore, it's important to mention that building relationship, it is something that is related to interpersonal relationship, and it takes time to build a good relationship. You must be in contact with people using social media. Every one of us use a lot social media, too much maybe. But in this case, it's very important and can be mutually beneficial to be in touch with other patients, with other organizations that can help you in your work as patient advocate. Staying positive, because you cannot give up if you don't see immediate positive outcomes from your job. You need to invest time, invest over an extended period of time. Improve your communication skills. This is important, and also yesterday have been mentioned that it is important to improve the communication skills. And of course, you have to focus your effort in what is productive for us. And we need also to deprioritize sometimes connection that can ask you to provide extra work, but at the end of the day, they cannot offer you the same value. And so we need to select what is better for us to do in our life. Of course, we need to explore also the toolkit for becoming a patient advocate, a patient expert. We need to be initially empowered and trained to become expert in our disease, first of all. And there are programs, yesterday we mentioned here and there that there is this TAL-E course implemented by the Thalassaemia International Federation, offered for patient training and patients empowerment in different languages. I think 6, Lily? 7 languages. Has been translated in 7 languages in order to facilitate the patients to run the course in their own language. That is much easier for them to do. And I encourage you, if you didn't get already your certificate of expert patient in the specific disease area, but it's important also for being a patient advocate, you need to advocate at international or European level, so you need to go further in your training, and also to join the efforts of other patients' organizations that have been created just to provide training, like EUPATI, the European Patients Academy, provide training courses that are particularly useful for the patients' advocates to understand and to interact with this organization, but also attending to the summer or winter school provided by Eurordis. It's part of the patient training, and it is important to develop our knowledge, our relationship, building our capacity of being a leader in your organization, because this can be important for those patients that want to promote to have the responsibility to represent the others. And this is particularly important to understand that a patient advocate, that is a patient representative, has the responsibility to take care and to protect those that are more vulnerable in their in the context of a disease. Because the people that are here maybe can be a strong advocate because they move from home, they travel from home here, they are ready to listen and to understand what is in place, how to go further in building their capacities. So you are active, involved in this process. But there are patients or situations, and the patients are weak, are much more vulnerable of you, and these patients need to be protected, and need to be protected from their peers. And this is a particular responsibility for us to advocate for this kind of patients. Of course, in the toolkit, everybody of us uses social media. Social media are good tools for being in touch with people, the chat lines, the different chat line, or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the social media you know. But don't forget to improve your ability to communicate. Communicate speaking with people, and to communicate writing short messages in bullet point, clear messages, in order to help the people to understand easily what you can offer and how you can help them or they can help you. And remember the motto that we have adopted at the HIHA level, that is this one: nothing about us without us. This means that the patient, as Dr. Eleftheriou said before, should be involved in any process of the decision making. But for doing that, we need to be trained. We need to become expert. We need to develop our knowledge. We need to improve our skills. We need to work. Nothing is easy in the life to achieve. So we need to work and to strengthen our collaboration, our network. TIF is available to support everybody, but you need to be proactive. You need to propose to TIF, not waiting, sitting down and waiting for TIF to promote and to call you. You have to be active and to promote issues, topics, events. TIF is here to support you. And thank you for your attention.